It's time for Making a Living with Maggie Mistel, one of the nation's best-known career coaches. Ready to soul search, research, and job search into your ideal career? Career Happy Hour starts now.
Hi, and welcome to Making a Living with Maggie. Grateful to be here with you, sharing something new when it comes to your career and helping you make a great living. That's what we're all about. Well, I want to thank you for joining in, as I said, and I want to also let you know today's topic. We're right on target with it. It's called gratitude, and it's powerful. It's actually a higher frequency than love. Did you know that? Yes, there's so much to learn about gratitude, so we're going to talk about that. I also want to give some updates. There's quite a few things that have been going on that I wanted to share, and from my clients landing new jobs and starting new jobs, because I know you don't always hear that in the regular mainstream media. I follow the headlines on LinkedIn and other places where people go for a career, and it's not always the rosiest, and there's reasons for that. But I guess what I'd like to encourage you to hold in terms of your own mindset is that you can carve your own path. No matter what's going on out there, what I've been able to see and encourage in my clients for the past 20 years is that they're able to create opportunities for themselves. And they don't need to wait for the outside world to create them for them, right? They can actually do this on their own. So that's the exciting part. And I'm grateful to also share that I asked a client who I've been coaching for quite some time, actually years, twice a month we've been talking. I'm doing executive coaching with him, so he's an executive. And what was really fascinating for me was that we ended up having a conversation about the return on his investment, and if he thought the money that he had spent on coaching and continued to was worth it. And he poured out, I'm so grateful, he poured out pages and pages of feedback and how our work had helped him. He said he doubled his salary, at least, since working with me, and it was more than covered the investment in coaching. He also started a side business, which has begun to take off. And he said just alone the opportunities he's taken advantage of and been able to create for himself, he said he never would have been there if it hadn't been for our coaching, because it was the conversations that we had on a regular basis that really encouraged him to perhaps take a leap of faith or take on a project that maybe he was afraid to do or had a little trepidation on, but knowing with the support that he had through me, he was going to do whatever it took to be successful. And really much in alignment with who he was. That was the best part of the feedback for me, was that he said with every move he's made, and opportunities started finding him, actually. He said with every move he's made, it's gotten more and more refined in terms of him being in the right role and him doing work that really suits him and not having to do the stuff that doesn't suit him, in terms of his talents and abilities. And he said, that's just been amazing. In terms of our expectations, I see that a lot in people. They have pretty low expectations about what a job is supposed to be, and they just assume they're going to have not so good parts to it, right? Or that there's always a downside. And that's not true. That's not true at all. And in fact, I've coached many clients to take out the downside from their job or career, and they've been able to do it. And I just don't say that lightly. And I just wanted to share that with you in case you have some ideas or dreams or projects or opportunities or places you'd like to be. Maybe your career is in a good spot, but there's really dreams you have of maybe roles you'd like to take on, but you're a little, you don't have quite the confidence you'd like to have. Or maybe you don't feel your work is really aligned with your values or who you are, and you want to make some changes. Or maybe you're just ready for a change. And interestingly enough, since I've been coaching 20 years, I've now had some clients retire. And what I tell them is, I'm like, are you having a retirement with purpose and fun? Not that they have to do anything, but it's about living your life every day. And this show is about living and enjoying every aspect of life. So if you've made it to the point where you don't have to make a paycheck from your time or your day, that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it and you can't love it. And I love to coach people into that too. And I'm actually a life purpose and career coach because I believe strongly that we are here for a purpose, and that can continue for our entire lives. So it's very exciting times, lots of good stuff to be excited about. So if you're not in that mindset, if you've maybe been forcing things, that's the other interesting thing my client had to say. He said before we started working together, he felt like he was forcing it, trying to make things happen and push for things to happen. And now he comes from a much more empowered place where he's of service to other people with his skills and talents. And he said that service attitude was also very, very helpful because now he could see, where can I be of service? We answer that question all the time in our work together when we talk. And he's really been able to shine in ways that I think are surprising to him, even beyond what he thought he could accomplish. And to me, that is the joy. Self-actualization is the ultimate goal. And to be able to achieve because of the beauty of who you are, not because you forced or pushed or dominated, right, someone or something else, but because you are shining from the inside out. And that light or that spark within you has been able to be cultivated and fanned into bigger and bigger flames to the point where you're shining brightly and the right opportunities can see you. That's really the truth. So I'm excited to be with you today. We're going to talk all about gratitude, and I want to jump right in with those tips. Here we go. So why am I talking about gratitude first off? Well, I'm grateful to say that I just delivered this seminar to a group of executive women, and it was fabulous. It was all around the topic of gratitude. And we started by having the participants send a quick note of thanks to someone, or a quick text, email, whatever's easiest, but just something to say thank you to someone, anyone. Didn't even have to be a work-related area. And it was really fabulous for them to experience that. And I know we say thank you. I'm sure that you do. But when you make it a point to show gratitude, it can have a huge impact. And it actually came up in talking to the client that I was mentioning about the ROI. And I said to him, I'm speaking, or did this speaking about gratitude. And did you know gratitude, is higher on the frequency scale than love? And he said, absolutely. And I said, really? Well, how do you know that? Well, it turns out his side business is with several family members, which is great. It's a family business that they are starting. And he said his nephew, when they would work together, would say, I appreciate you. And my client was like, wow, he could say, I love you, because I know he does. He's my nephew. But when he says, I appreciate you, he said, I can remember the first time he said that to me. And it lights me up from the inside, right? It makes me feel like, wow, yeah, I'm being of service and I want to be more of service. And it's a really empowering kind of thing. So that may be something you want to do right now. Send a text or an email if you're not driving, of course, and you're listening to this in a place where you can safely do that. But send a quick note of thanks to someone and just see what you get back. See how it makes you feel. See how it makes them feel. Feel free to appreciate away because it does have a positive impact. And when I talk about this frequency scale, what am I talking about? Well, let me share some research on gratitude and its positive effects. First off is David Hawkins. So he wrote the bestseller Power versus Force and asserted that higher emotions such as love and gratitude give us positive power and the ability to empower others to extraordinary outcomes. While lower emotions such as guilt, shame, fear, those can cause a reaction in ourselves and others, right? But it's forced. Remember my client saying he was forcing things, right? And that's disempowering to ourselves and others. And it leads to subpar outcomes. That was what my client was experiencing. And so it's amazing. The frequency scale, we talk about power versus force, is as you go up the scale from anger and guilt and fear, and you get to courage, things start to change and you start to get into the power zone. And so just to give you an idea, shame is 20, guilt is 30, compared to gratitude at 540, right? On par with joy. That's where that is. So it holds a higher frequency than love, which is 500. It's really amazing. And this was actually a measurement of how the frequency of a person when they're experiencing these emotions. So when you feel and express gratitude, you're coming from power that is empowering to others. It's just that win-win situation that spirals up, and it's fabulous. But when we are in the guilt mode or fear or shame, that's in the low range and is disempowering. So I think we can relate to that. We've all felt that, being shamed or guilted into something. It'll give a reaction or an action, but it doesn't feel very empowering. And we don't usually give the best results. I remember in corporate, we talk about you get compliance out of that, but you don't necessarily get innovation or big thinkers. And I got to apply this in corporate. And in fact, it was around the idea of appreciating your workers or your staff on your team. When I was at Martha Stewart, I was in charge of all the learning and development for the company. And I have a consulting background in organizational change. And one of the managers said, well, maybe you can help me re-engineer the processes in my department because there's just always problems with the work. And she said, it's really straightforward. It really shouldn't be, but I've really tried to make it, fix it. And it just seems to always there's always seems to be a problem with the processes that we're using. I said, well, let's focus on appreciation first. Let's see if we can involve your employees in this and show some appreciation for them and see what happens. And ultimately, I had her, gave her, simple questions that she could ask each staff member to reflect on and come back to her with their answers. Questions like, what's working well in your job that you want to maintain? What would you like to change about your job if you could? And is there anything about the department or the workflow that you would change? Simple questions, and she did not guarantee that she was going to make the changes that they requested, but she said spend some time. She gave everybody a week to work on it, and then she met with each person individually for 10 minutes. Okay, so this did not take a lot of time. She met with each person, she got a few ideas, she made some changes, but nothing major. And what was amazing, though, was all of a sudden, guess what happened? The work started taking care of itself. That's right, the processes no longer had issues. And she looked at me and said, oh my God, she said, it hit me like a ton of bricks. When I focused on the work, there were always problems. But when I focused on the people and appreciating them, the work took care of itself. That is an example of the power of gratitude, higher than even love, to empower people to what David Hawkins called synchronicities, right? Right place, right time kind of things, and extraordinary outcomes, right? He or she had worked so hard to try to force something and couldn't get there. But when we focused on the power within her and others and help her empower her staff, the work took care of itself. Amazing. So those are some ideas. And I'd love to hear if you've had great gratitude stories as well. You can always share them in the comments, or you can contact me at maggiemistel.com, because it's very powerful to focus on gratitude. And if you've heard of the gratitude journal, gratitude jars, I think we're onto something here. I think people are really starting to pick up on this. And here's some other fabulous things about gratitude, which I'm going to share in just a minute. It's about how gratitude can help our bodies, minds, and our careers. Stay tuned for more right here on Making a Living with Maggie. Mark your calendars. I'm thrilled to announce the first ever Cruise to Career happening April 5th to the 12th, 2025. Imagine this, a 7-night journey, 6 aboard a luxurious cruise ship, where you'll enjoy stylish accommodations, savor exquisite meals crafted by Michelin-starred chefs, and embark on adventures like exploring the Tulum ruins, snorkeling with stingrays, and basking on breathtaking beaches. But that's not all. You'll be surrounded by like-minded, ambitious professionals, all participating in a comprehensive career development retreat. By the end of this cruise, you'll have a clear, actionable plan for your ideal career. Here's what you can look forward to. Mindset matters. You'll be able to discern fact from fear and learn how to use your thoughts to propel your ideal life. Soul search exercises. You'll identify fields of interest and determine your top work values or motivators. Research strategies. You'll learn how to gather information and test out the possibilities. Personalized coaching with me. Benefit from individual 1-hour coaching. Group support. Experience the invaluable support of a group and the encouragement and insights it offers. This retreat at sea is designed to boost your confidence and clarity, whether you're working or in retirement or somewhere in between. Set sail towards your dream career with the ocean as your backdrop. Click the link in the show notes to explore the full workshop schedule and itinerary. Sign up before October 1st for early bird pricing, and definitely sign up by the deadline on December 1st, 2024. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to transform your career while enjoying the serene beauty of the Caribbean. Contact me at maggiemistel.com to learn more. A link will be in the show notes. Welcome back. So we're continuing our talk about gratitude, and I want to share some research from the Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic, and positive psychology about gratitude helping our bodies, minds, and our careers. So here's what the Cleveland Clinic found. They said there's research that practicing gratitude can help lower blood pressure, help build a stronger immune system, and even help with certain treatment outcomes. So the Cleveland Clinic is finding gratitude can even help with your health. Mayo Clinic reinforced the same thing. It said studies have shown that feeling thankful can improve sleep and mood and immunity. Gratitude can decrease depression, anxiety, difficulties with chronic pain, and lower the risk of disease. Wow, all from feeling gratitude and being thankful. PositivePsychology.com said several studies on gratitude in the workplace found that gratitude can make us more effective managers, reduce impatience, and improve decision-making. Isn't that wonderful? So you can be less impatient and have better decision-making. Gratitude can also help us find meaning in our work. There's that life purpose again. Contribute to reduced turnover. I can tell you that after my manager, Martha, had asked her staff these questions, they felt great about working in that department, and they weren't looking to go anywhere. And lastly, PositivePsychology.com says gratitude improves work-related mental health and reduces stress. Wow, amazing. So does any of this research surprise you? Does any of this research surprise you? That's really the question. And the answer is probably no, right? Maybe some. Maybe like, oh, I knew it was powerful, but I didn't know how much. Well, yeah, I thought so too. When I found the research, I knew I'd find good things, but I was really, really impressed. This is a powerful tool as well as a powerful attitude that we can all take. And you know, I love to focus on mindset. It's a critical part of having a successful career and also a happy life. Really, feeling grateful makes us feel good too. So that's a fabulous way to think about gratitude, is that it helps us, body, mind, spirit, and helps our careers, helps our outcomes, helps them to be extraordinary, frankly, helps us even work and have better relationships with one another. Next, I want to focus on what are some ways we can cultivate gratitude. And there's some really good examples. You've probably heard some of these, but they bear repeating. I know, simple things, but can be very powerful. Counting your blessings. Counting your blessings. So one thing you could do right now is you can write down one thing you're grateful for that you did right today, right? Counting your blessings, or that went right for you, or counting the fact that you're alive. I posted on Facebook, what are you grateful for today? And people are like living, breathing, being here, having a comfortable home, or being on vacation, or having a nice meal, waking up with a nice cup of tea or coffee, having a beautiful child, or a wonderful significant other or family member in your life, or friend. These are all amazing blessings to be thankful for. When you count them, when you count your blessings and you take note of them, writing them down on a regular basis, research again shows this really does improve your mental attitude, and you can even get better results. We'll see. You'll have to tell me what works for you. So regularly writing down what you're grateful for, that's the gratitude journal idea. Having a morning reflection where you're starting each day with what you're thankful for, writing thank you notes, as I mentioned earlier in the show, acknowledging someone who's had a positive impact on you or has done something nice now or in the past. Another fun one, and I think you could do this on your phone now. Phones are actually doing them for us, almost. But a photo project is fun. You can take photos of things that you're thankful for, right? Or things that make you feel grateful, and create your own little album on your phone. And then you can look at it regularly anytime you want a gratitude boost. I think that's a really fun one. That's one I'm going to take to heart. One more thing on gratitude that I want to share, and it's self-gratitude. That's right. Appreciating your own skills, talents, experiences, energy, personality. Really what I call, or I've heard called, and I love it, is core genius. It's actually Jack Canfield's term, and it's so true. Appreciating yourself for the genius that you bring to this world, to me, that's part of your life purpose. And being grateful for that, it honors that gift that you have, or those gifts and abilities, and appreciates them in service to others, right? When you're able to be of service with your gifts and talents, fabulous way to be thankful for who you are and why you're here. And everybody has something that they could do for others. And there are so many ways to practice gratitude. I really encourage you to just pick one. Pick one and make gratitude a regular part of your day and see what happens. See if that changes your life or your life perspective in any way. And now it's time for your career tip. This one is about giving yourself permission. Before we even start working to uncover your career possibilities, you need to establish and keep the proper mindset. You simply need to give yourself permission. Permission to identify all the possibilities. Permission to believe all careers that excite you. Put a smile on your face when even talking about them as possible. Allow yourself to list all possibilities at this stage and don't limit yourself. Remember, this is your soul search. Allow your soul, your inner self, to speak and be heard. I can hear many of you saying, yes, but... No buts at this stage. For the possibilities exercises, give yourself permission to list all your dream careers. I know it's not easy. Many of my clients struggle at this stage. They tell me, but I don't have experience in that field, but I'll have to take a step back and pay, but I'll lose my lifestyle, but... remember, no buts, not yet. That's precisely why this mindset is so critical. If you don't believe something is possible, it becomes much, much harder to achieve. So here are a few mindset exercises to keep you believing all is possible. They will help you give yourself permission that you need. First, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? I keep this mantra on my desk. Every day I read it, and I often ask all my clients this very question. I usually facilitate out all their fears and buts to get to the core of what they would do if they knew they couldn't fail. So take a moment and write that down. And keep that mindset as you uncover all your possibilities. Next, separate facts from feelings. In my training with the Life Purpose Institute, founder and instructor Fern Gorin mentioned how important this service can be for some considering a career change. She was right. In my experience, clients often say to me, if I make a career change, I'll have to start over at the bottom. I ask them if they know that or if they assume that. Is it a fact or is it a feeling? Most assume and have never investigated the facts behind the new career. Next, enjoy it. Yes, enjoy it. This sounds so simple, but it is critical. This is your chance to start to think about all the possibilities that put a smile on your face. Possible careers where you are doing your purpose, working in an industry or field that interests you on your terms. Realize what truly makes you happy. If you can't enjoy dreaming about the possibility of it, will you ever even enjoy achieving it? Now that you're in the right mindset, continue to explore all your possibilities and write them down. Remember, you have permission. No buts, no failure, just enjoy it. To hear more tips like this, check out previous episodes of Making a Living with Maggie and check out my book, Are You Ready to Love Your Job? A link will be in the show notes. Well, I'm sorry to say that we've run out of time. Thanks for joining. I'll be back next month. Here's a quote to keep you inspired about gratitude, and it comes from Melody Beatty. She says, quote, "Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, and a stranger into a friend," unquote. Thanks for joining. I'm Maggie Mistel, your career coach, inspiring you to make a great living.
To understand more about how Maggie can help with your individual career needs and goals, contact her at maggiemistel.com or facebook.com/makingaalivingwithMaggieMistel. Together, we can all make a great living. Great living.